All right, Taj. So this is day one of the 30 teams in 30 days, and we're talking about the Atlanta Hawks today. The Hawks had a disappointing season, and they had a lot of injuries, and they got screwed over with the bubble. What should the Hawks do to improve going into next season?
First of all, the Atlanta Hawks, they finished with the second worst record in the Eastern Conference last year. And the thing about the Atlanta Hawks, you can't tell if it was a disappointing season or if it was just what the Atlanta Hawks is. Like this team, this is a very young team, a very inexperienced team. You really don't have no leaders. They had Vince Carter in there. I don't even know why he was still playing, but this team is special because it feel like the Atlanta Hawks. It feel like they have all the pieces already that they need, in terms of them tanking over the previous years. But it still feels like they're going to be in this constant stage of rebuilding. It almost feels like the Sacramento Kings of the past, like just always this constant stage of rebuilding. Like so, I don't know. Moving forward, they have the number six pick in this year's draft, and that's really unfortunate for them because having the second worst record in the league, you would think you would get a top three pick, and they got the number six pick. They have various needs. They need some perimeter defense. That backcourt with Trey Young and Kevin Herter, that's just not going to get it done. Trey Young is 6 foot. We know he doesn't play defense. He had the worst defensive rating of 360 plays in the entire league. Kevin Herter, like he tries to play, but he's not good at defense. And you see a lot of point guards. They really been getting killed from point guards. So they need perimeter defense. And they need someone. They need a big man that can stretch the floor. I know they got Clint Capella, which I thought was a bad move. I don't know why you're signing a guy who's going to be taking up so much money. I mean, he's getting paid what $20 million, and he's been injured, and it doesn't fit your team need. Like you don't need a Clint Capella. I think the NBA is reverting from big men like Clint Capella. So I don't know. Moving forward, I think in this year's draft, maybe they get Obi Toppin from Dayton at number 6. He's a big man. He can stretch the floor. He's versatile. Or they can get the big man from SC or Oneko. I can't even pronounce his name. Oneko Ogunku, whatever his name is. He can also stretch the floor like that. Those are potential targets that they can get at number 6. And hey, if Wiseman is there at number 6, you have to take him. But I think Wiseman is going to be gone top 3. But at this point, like the Atlanta Hawks, I don't know. They're in a tough situation.
All right. Well, first of all, a couple of things. The Atlanta Hawks, if John Collins doesn't get suspended for 25 games of a short season where we already missed 20 games, we what 5 games, we basically 5 games out of the ninth spot. I think we would have been easily to say the Atlanta Hawks would have been a top 10 team inside of the East if for at least record wise. If Collins was there, and we should have been invited back to the bubble, and they screwed us over with that. And also, they have the number 6 pick in the draft. I feel like they don't need to draft another young player. We already got Cam Reddish, um, DeAndre Hunter. We got Trey and they got Kevin Hurst, so they don't need another young piece. I feel like they should trade that pick, package that with somebody, and bring in like a steady veteran guy who is proven in the league, who could give you some production. I like the sign of Clint Capella. I don't know if they're gonna do a Clint Capella and John Collins on the court at the same time. I don't see that really working, but they needed some rim protection, and that's where I think Clint Capella is going to help with that, and he's definitely going to help on the defensive end. They need to bring in a guy who could obviously. They need some defensive help. They need a lot of defensive help. They need. I think if they bring in another guy, a backcourt guy, it's probably someone like Drew Holiday who could give them offense and take some of the guard pressure off of Trey Young. That'll be huge. I think that's what the Hawks need. And I think the Hawks will easily make the playoffs next year. And if Collins doesn't go out for 25 games in a already short regular season, the Hawks would have been in the playoffs, and there's no doubt they only 5 games out of the ninth spot. That's I don't see how you could deny that. Their second best player goes down, and they're still only 5 games out of the ninth spot. I feel like the Hawks going forward, they're in a good position going forward.
I don't think they make the playoffs. I don't even think they're anywhere close to the playoffs. This Hawks team, this is not a good team. Like you said, they have a lot of young pieces. I kind of agree with you in the fact that they don't need another young pieces. Like you just keep adding on young pieces, but there's nobody leading them. There's nobody overshining everyone. Yes, Trae Young is out there getting 29 points per game, but it's like the offense is just revolving around him. I feel like the other players suffer. I feel like the Cam Reddishes, I feel like he suffers. I feel like DeAndre Hunter, I feel like they suffer because they just have the ball in Trae Young's hand 24/7. Like I know he's gonna get his 29 points, his 9 assists, but you're not letting the other guys get in their flow. You're not letting the other guys get their rhythm. You're not letting Cam play his game. You're not letting DeAndre play his game. Yes, John Collins, yes, he was going to put up, if he was there to 25 games, he was going to put up his 20 points, but I don't feel like those 20 points would take them over the hump. I think it'll just be another guy putting up numbers on a really bad team. Like I don't see them making the playoffs. I don't see them. They're not close to Orlando. They're not close to Orlando. They're not close to Brooklyn. I think we can say both those teams are better than the Atlanta Hawks this year. So I don't even see how they make the playoffs. And even if they were a 19-10 seed, like your star lineup is stacked with just young talent. And at some point, you're gonna have to pay them. Like, yes, I agree with you. I think they should make a trade. Maybe a Drew Holiday, maybe a Bradley Beal. I don't know if they have enough pieces. Maybe the sixth pick, Cam, DeAndre, and maybe another first rounder. Maybe you can get Bradley Beal. They got like $50 million in cap space. They should go after a guy in Gordon Hayward. They need they need a veteran guy. They need an all-star. They need a guy that can do everything, that can facilitate the offense. I need the young guys. Maybe if Gordon Hayward, if he opts out, maybe they go after him, or maybe they make a trade for him. Maybe they go after a guy like Ibaka. They can use Ibaka on defense, down the paint. Like maybe that guys like that they can use. At this point, it's time for the Atlanta Hawks to stop rebuilding and move your pieces. You're not the Boston Celtics. You're not a team that's good, that just have a lot of draft picks. No, you need to move your draft picks to bring in pieces, because at this point in time, you don't need any more young players on this team. You need veterans. You need guys that've been in the league. You probably need an outside. You need guys that can take control of this team. Like, I don't know, Brandon Ingram is on the market. You don't need a Brandon Ingram. You already have DeAndre Hunter and Cam. Like you said, you need somebody in that backcourt. Even if they could get a Buddy Hield to come in there to play shooting guard for Kevin Herter, even he kind of bring a little bit more spark to the team. But they surely need a big man. I would say Ibaka, even a Marcus Gasol, even if he can hold it down.
No,
Forward,
I don't
if they
know.
can get Gordon Hayward, maybe even DeMar DeRozan, if they can get those guys
No,
because they have a lot of cap
no.
space. They have a lot of cap space. Other than that, I don't see how much. I don't see where the team improves other than pieces like that.
Well, just a couple of things. I feel like, yeah, bringing in a guy like Ibaka or even Trez will be on the market. That'll be a good push for them. But I feel like the Hawks have a serious chance to get Giannis. And I've been saying this from, what's it, like 2 years now, that Hawks are gonna make a push and trade for Giannis. And if they could get in a serious like veteran guy like a Drew Holiday maybe, that'll be, now you got Drew Holiday, you got Trae Young, and then now you could maybe trade for Giannis. Like you
Maybe
might just
bring in
like
Ibaka or something like that. That's something good. You got Drew, you got Trey, maybe Ibaka, then you got Collins, and maybe you have DeAndre or Cam splitting the forward positions like that.
yeah.
That's a pretty. That team will make the playoffs in the East for
I
sure.
feel like Cam will, like, even coming down towards the end of the season, Cam was starting to play good, and Cam is really good on defense. A lot of people don't realize that he's a really good defensive player. Him and DeAndre Hunter, and Cam was starting to step up. He's having a couple of 20-point games coming down to the season. Obviously, COVID happened, and then they got screwed over by not getting allowed to come to the bubble. But I feel like Cam will take a big jump next season. I'm calling it. I feel like he'll be probably the second best player on the Hawks, even probably the best, because he does it on both ends. He can play defense and he can score the ball. So I'm telling you, Cam's going to take a big jump next season.
I feel like Cam can't take that jump, but what they need to do with the offense, they need to take the ball out of Trae Young's hands. They need to just let the offense flow. When I look at the Atlanta Hawks, I do not see a system. I do not see an offense. I see give the ball to Trae Young and let him go to work. Either let him score, let him make an assist. And that is not going to cut it in the NBA. We've seen guys do that all the time. We've seen Gilbert Arenas. We've seen them do that. Like we've seen guys do that all the time. That's just not going to cut it. You see Bradley Beal, he averaged 30 and didn't even make the All-Star team. At some point, you need an offense. Like I need to see an offense. I need to see Cam off. I need to see Hunter bringing the ball up sometimes. Those guys, they did that in college. They proved it. So like you say, maybe some pieces. I feel like they could trade for Haywood. I feel like they could sign Ibaka. They could throw some money at Ibaka. They got $45 million in cap. They can throw some money at some guys. Maybe Drew Holiday. I feel like that sixth pick and maybe a guy like you got to put in either Hunter or Cam to get Drew. Like that's a pretty good team. I think that's a building step. You said Giannis. I don't see them getting Giannis. I don't see anyone on that team who the Bucks are going to look at and say he's going to be a superstar. And I don't think a superstar is coming with that sixth pick. So I don't feel they're going to get Giannis. No, when you have guys like the Warriors have the number 2 pick. So that like I say, they got talent, but at this point you need to bring in some veterans, and you need to just cut it out with the young players. You need to bring in some veterans and spread the offense.